everyone, and welcome to my January video of the month. And Happy New Year! New cycle, new season of winter. And I am bringing you my monthly message here. And today I'm going to be talking about truth and honesty and riffing on this topic. So I'm excited. This has been moving through me today. And before I dive in, I do want to just announce as well that I have my monthly event coming up in 2 days on Thursday, the 11th, for the new moon. And that is Planetary Upshift Meditation. And the live stream tickets are available for free for anyone who hasn't checked out this event. It's a really beautiful monthly new moon event that I do here in my office in Sedona. And I live stream from here. And it's a sacred alchemy of aligning with our heart's intentions and planting them through our voice, casting the spells, right? Spelling out loud what we want to experience in our personal lives and in the world at large. And coming together as a group, as we know, amplifies the power of doing this type of intention setting and doing it at the new moon. Consciously, we're aligning with the optimal time of the month when the sun and the moon are in a conception, right? In a baby-making conception, right? A conception of creation. And then we call in, we align with all elements of creation to support this journey. We bring in cacao as well as a plant medicine ally participant. And then I do a deep dive guided meditation through the heart. It could be considered really more of a journey, I guess, an activation. It's not just like a guided meditation. It's really more dynamic in terms of everyone's sort of experiences it differently, but it's a very potent, energetic experience. And I join with Viola Rose, who comes and does the sacred sound, and we do this journey together with the meditation and the sound aspect of it live, and it's really powerful. So I want to invite everyone to join, especially those of you who haven't checked it out. And you can go to the Bright Star event and get a ticket online. The live stream, again, is free. If you do the live stream, I recommend bringing your own cacao, doing your cacao at home. And so you can participate in that element of the experience. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about truth and honesty. So, as I tune into what is important, right? What's the message? This is what really came through for me today was truth, right? I think that it's pretty clear to me that understanding, ourselves around truth, right? Around what we believe to be true, what we experience to be true, just the whole orientation around what is true, right, is the foundational question from which all other questions arise, right? Or it's really the truth, right? What is real? The question of what is real is the foundational question around which everything else centers, right? So this is what I'm most passionate about in my work, is really looking at and helping to raise our awareness around our own relationship to truth and reality, and to cultivate and become more empowered around our capacity to discern truth, okay, to be connected, to affirm truth, right? We have to be able to, deal with our direct experience, the landscape of our experience, and and discern, who am I? What is going on here? What is the meaning of all this? What is the meaning of my life? What is really going on in the world? I mean, these are all the foundational questions that if we're living a life of consciousness and meaning and purpose, we have to, these are the core questions that we're ongoingly dealing with. And so the value of, getting better, getting stronger around our relationship to truth and false, right? Real and unreal, is the highest value, I believe. And so as I think about this topic, there's the question, there's many layers to what truth is, because there's many layers to our experience, and we want to know the truth of all of it. And how does it all make sense in the grand scheme of things? But what I want to kind of drop into here is pulling back from the questions about what's true, what's going on externally to ourselves. Because if we aren't, we have to start with ourselves, okay? So we have to become we have to start with ourselves in terms of our commitment to truth, with our own direct experience, and be willing to be honest with ourselves about the truth of ourselves, about the truth of our experience. And so what I want to emphasize here is that this is a process, this is an ongoing process for all of us. And nobody's perfect here in terms of, healing or spirituality, spiritual awakening, in terms of this soul's evolution process, right? In terms of sort of becoming this perfect awake human that's doing everything right and living our best life, We all want that, and we're all working towards it, and we're all failing in different ways, right? We're all, just on a continuum of our development and our understanding of things. And so what I want to focus on and looking at is this relationship to being truthful within ourselves first, and to, again, emphasize that in order to become the embodied, truthful person, the person of full integrity, the person of full consciousness in our relationships, in our thought, word, and deed, right? In our speech, in our behavior, to have all these things aligned and conscious and able to be expressed and spoken ultimately, right? In our relationships and just in our words, whatever we do. In order to get to that point, we have to first start with being honest and truthful with ourselves. And I do believe that building up this frequency of being honest with myself has a powerful, infectious implication for being able to then discern truth outside of myself, okay? So if I want to learn how to discern truth outside of myself and live in an embodied way in alignment with my values, right? I have to first start with being honest with myself, okay? There's no way to be honest and in integrity with the world if we, the degree to which we're able to do it is dependent on the degree to which we do it for ourselves. So then looking at, well, what does it mean to be honest with myself? So, and how is it that we're not honest with ourselves, right? So what I find to be true is that one of the things that keeps us from being fully honest with ourselves is the difficulty in accepting that truth. The difficulty in dealing with the truth within ourselves, right? So we could say it's about inner conflict, right? Part of myself, has all these values and wants to be the best person possible and wants to be in integrity and, truly values all these things. But they're highfalutin values, right? They're noble values. And then part of me struggles to be aligned with those values. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell, right? Part of me, the human part, the traumatized part, the part that is, feels unworthy, feels disempowered, feels a sense of lack, all these things. The part that is insecure, disempowered, the victim, all these things, right? So that part is in conflict with the values that we hold for ourselves. And so this is just how it is, right? For all of us. And so we need to learn how to deal with that conflict. That's the key here. So how can we create and support and build an inner paradigm within ourselves? How can we support an inner environment within ourselves that can be okay with facing our failures at being perfect, facing our failures at being able to perform in life at the level that we want to be, we wish we could? Right? But that we're working towards, and then we start having successes, so it's a fluid, dynamic process that we're always, if we're trying and we're consciously trying, we're doing a great job, right? So we want to just be compassionate and gentle and understanding with how difficult this process is that we're doing here. How we've been born into a world where we've taken on such conditioning that has given us all these false messages about ourselves, about who we are, and has made it extremely difficult. We've come to this world, we've put on this encasing of these ideas about who I am. It's like a straitjacket. and then we're trying to work our way out of that straitjacket. Right? Out of the crazy into the real. And that's hard. It's really hard. So this is the key. This is really the message, is that in order to be better at being honest with ourselves and facing the truth, and I'll give you some examples of what I mean specifically by the truths that are difficult to face. But the key to facing the truth about ourselves has to do with self-compassion and love and acceptance, and cultivating an inner self, an inner loving, guide, or however you want to think about it, an ally, a parent, spiritual, higher self, loving, inner voice, however you cultivate that. But cultivating this space of compassion and being okay with the fact that we aren't able to perform at the level that we want to be able to be, or where we think we should be, right? So as long as we're caught in that illusionary thinking, which is not true, we're not going to get to where we want to go. Because we're caught in this inner conflict, and then we're caught in, gaslighting ourselves and, not wanting to face the truth. So then whatever we're doing outside to try to, put up a smoke screen or, not deal with it or whatever, right? As long as we're not able to accept the truth of ourselves, we are not going to be able to get to where we want to be that person. Because the key is to be honest and humble with ourselves, right? So what are these truths that are hard to face, right? And so let's look at specifically what those things are. So when I say that, we're talking about all the truths about myself, meaning my feelings, right? How do I feel? My feelings, my thoughts, my beliefs, my perceptions. Okay? So the layers, all the common layers to our experience. And then the truth about who I am. That's a belief, or it's an experience. It's a direct perception. So again, we're talking about the truths that are hard to face sometimes are how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, how I'm believing, how I am behaving, could say, and how I am perceiving. Okay? So these are all direct things that are a part of our experience, right? A part of who we are. And so why is it hard to face some of those things? Well, because we don't want to accept the truth. Because sometimes what the truth is creates a problem for us of our ego, of how we want to be, how we want to, what idea I have about who I am, and how this experience I'm having, or this thought, or this belief, or this feeling doesn't match my idea of who I am, right? My ego, right? So it's a lot of this is about the ego identity, wanting to project a self in a certain way, wanting to be a certain way, being rigid and fixed in my identity. Oh, well, this is how I believe. Well, what if what I believe, or what I have believed in the past, is in conflict with an actual feeling I'm having in the moment? Okay? So let's just look at that as an example. If that's the case, if I'm having a feeling or a perception, or actually there's something even I'm perceiving right in my environment that is in conflict with something that I've held to be true, I'm just doing this as like in the back of the head, right? Because it's like these lenses we have. If there's a conflict there, I have a choice to, if I'm afraid to face the truth of this feeling I'm having that's in conflict with this old belief that I've held for so long, I can either, defend and protect the ego that is afraid of releasing that rigid hold on that old belief system, or or any other measure of ego defense mechanism, whatever I might do, whatever story I might tell about the feeling that makes it, invalidates it somehow, because I'm being beholden to the old belief structure, right? So my mind and my heart, interestingly, are not in alignment, and I'm trying to deny my heart. I'm trying to deny my own experience because I'm beholden to like this belief structure. So you can double down and, separate from yourself and not acknowledge the truth of the feeling, or you can be like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like, I know I've always believed this thing, but like my heart is telling me something else, or like my body is just having a reaction to this thing, and like, let me take a look at this. Let me turn towards myself and survey the landscape and, look around and like be curious and open. Okay? And try to work out, well, maybe if I honor and I'm honest with myself about my feeling, well, what if I just trust myself? And trust that, I'm going to go to another example now. Trust that, I'm angry about the situation for a reason. And it's let me look at my anger here and be curious. Like, why am I so angry about this situation? Why am I so fired up? Instead of judging myself because I have an idea that I'm a spiritual person, or I'm not an angry person, or what anger is bad, right? So, when we have anger coming up, usually it's for a good reason. That there's something either that we believe, one of our values is being attacked, right? Or not, like just basic values aren't being upheld in a relationship or in the world, or, in our experience, and we feel angry about it, we feel hurt. Or, generally speaking, it's a boundary crossing of one form or another. There's information that if I'm being honest with myself, there's something important that the anger is revealing to me about the situation. And maybe there's just being willing to be honest with whatever the truth is, and whatever, validating and being honest with the fact that, I do actually feel not okay with the situation. I need to assert some boundaries here. So the idea here, these are just a couple examples to give you a sense of what I'm talking about here. So you can look at it in your own experience and see, how this might apply to your own experience. Like if you look at just the different areas of your life and the different layers of your being, and just kind of do an inquiry, like what are the truths that I have a hard time accepting or looking at. And the beauty of this is that coming back to the compassion piece, which is really the key to all of this, is that we have to be willing to be humble and okay with the places where we're falling short. And so maybe, in a situation where you feel you've been violated and there's a boundary and there's anger, maybe you're not ready, maybe you don't have the courage and you're not at a place yet where you can fully express your truth to the person or the situation. And that's okay. You have to start with where you're at. That's the first thing. And so this is really the key to being able to be honest with ourselves, is to be honest with wherever we're at. And we can be aware of what our goals are, what we want to be achieving in terms of our performance in life, right? Our ability to embody our values and what we're striving for. But we have to accept where we're at. And the acceptance of where we're at is contingent upon how humble and willing we are to accept the situation, accept ourselves, accept our failures, or our human self that's struggling to get out of the straitjacket and is still stuck in there partly, right? So having compassion for our own conditioning, our own, insecure self or, struggle. So if we don't have this compassion and ability to accept ourselves in these ways, we're not being honest with ourselves, and we're getting further out of alignment. Actually, we're getting further away from our ability to achieve the goals that we want because we're too afraid to face the truth, right? And to accept the truth then. Because a lot of times what happens, and then I'm going to wrap it up here, a lot of times what happens is that there's a lot of self-judgment, right? That's the other culprit here, is, there's the ego defense structure is riddled with self-judgment about the part that isn't in integrity and isn't able to tell the truth, or isn't able to accept where I'm out of integrity in a situation, and maybe I'm, crossing someone else's boundary, or I'm out of alignment somehow, right? I'm projecting, I'm, whatever, I'm acting out, all these things. So we have to be loving and compassionate towards our indiscretion, so to speak, in order to change the part of ourselves that's doing those things. The love and compassion and acceptance is the key. But if we're caught in that layer of the ego defense structure that doesn't want to look at it and is doubling down and manipulating and doing all the things, it's based in self-judgment, okay? And we're never going to break through that layer until we can release the self-judgment and just be humbly facing the reality, and that love is what that part of ourself needs in order to integrate and transform and feel okay. Okay, as long as we're self-judging and we're sort of exiling these aspects of ourselves, we're never going to be able to integrate and be the person that our ego is projecting that we think we want to be, right? So, okay, well, I hope that message is helpful, and I will leave it here for now, and I will be doing these monthly videos. Now, this is my new program that I feel really good about and aligned. It doesn't feel like too much, and I hope that these messages are helpful for you. Okay, everyone, wishing you well, and hope to see some of you. I won't see you on the live stream, but hope to have some of you possibly joining us on Thursday. Okay, bye for now.